Am I the butthole for telling my wife that she needed to be at my graduation an hour before she needed to because she is always late for things? I, 27 male, have been with my wife, 27 female, for 8 years. For 5 of those years I was in the military and I developed the habit of being early for everything I do. It is a huge pet peeve of mine if people are late for things when they could have been on time. If something happens out of your control and you are late, then I totally understand. My wife is the type of person who is always late. Throughout our relationship she has made us late for events and it has been embarrassing. One of the worst incidents was when I was home on leave. We were planning on meeting my mom for breakfast, I haven't seen in 2 years, at 9 a.m. I told my wife the day before that I want to leave our place at 8:30 so we can get there by 8:50. We both wake up at 7 o'clock and I'm ready by 8 o'clock. At that point she hasn't even started to get ready. I remind her multiple times that we need to leave by 8:30 but she kept saying we have time and I'll be fast. She didn't start getting ready until 8:30. Long story short, we were an hour late and we lost our reservation because of it. I was pissed but kept it to myself until we got home. I told her that I hated that she always made us late and it can be embarrassing sometimes. She apologized and said she would work on it. It never got any better. If anything, she would get short with me if I mentioned the time. Fast forward 3 years and I was graduating the police academy. The graduation was set to begin at 10 a.m. and people could start showing up at 9:15. Well, knowing my wife and not wanting her to be walking in as the ceremony was beginning, I told her that the graduation started at 9:15 and she needed to be there at 8:30 to find parking. Well, sure enough, I see her driving in at 9:15. Of course I was a little pissed but glad that my plan worked. The rest of the graduation went as planned and I was happy. Afterwards, a group of us and our spouses went out to celebrate. At one point my wife mentions that she was lucky that the ceremony got pushed back or she was going to be late. My friends were confused and told her that they saw her car and that she showed up right on time. My wife then asked what time was the ceremony supposed to start? They all said 10 a.m. At that point my wife just stared at me and I knew she was pissed. When we got home my wife blew up on me. She said she was pissed that I lied to her and didn't understand why I did. I told her that I knew that she would be late and so I told her a slightly earlier time, be safe. She said she was hurt and felt that I had manipulated her. This is where I might be the butthole. I said, how do you think I feel? I told you that the graduation started at 9:15 and you were still late. You knew how hard I worked throughout the academy and you couldn't even be on time for this one occasion. She got quiet and just said she's going to bed. She has barely spoken to me over the last couple days and I don't know if I was too harsh. So am I the butthole? Not the butthole. I literally had to lie to my mom about doctor's appointments, school events, and games, anything that involved a time because she is always late. I still to this day have to lie to her about what time events start. It never occurred to her that being late affected everyone around us. I'd constantly get punished at practice if I was late. We've missed doctor's appointments that I needed for being late and shed raise hell, but it was her fault. It was embarrassing. I may have an unpopular opinion and hurt some feelings, but it is not cute to be fashionably late. It's not cool to always be late showing up to dates, appointments, whatever, etc. etc. To me personally, you're telling me that you don't value my time or me at all, because if you did you'd make the effort to show up accordingly. Your wife should take some personal accountability and apologize, in my opinion. Edit. Thanks for the silver heart. The date thing. I used to make exceptions for people, but if you can't be on time for a first date, it's a bad sign for how seriously you take things later. I had an ex-boyfriend who was always late for everything. It's one of the main reasons that he is an ex. It's so disrespectful. I recognize some people genuinely do have a problem processing time, but usually it's just the person care enough to make an effort to be on time. That's the thing though, even people who have difficulty with time management can set an alarm. Arguing with people that everything will be fine when you know you have a habit of being late is nothing short of pride and disrespect for others. Edit. I think this might be my first comment to reach 1K and it was more offhanded than anything. Yup. I have ADHD, but I'm never late because I set alarms. This. I have ADHD and zero concept of innate time. I use ways to figure out how long it will take to get somewhere ahead of time and set alarms, X time, 5 minutes to think about starting to get ready, Y time, I now have 10 minutes to get ready. Z time, I need to be out the door, etc. I think early is on time and on time is late. I can't stand people who are always late, and with smartphones and the tech we have available to us, there's just no excuse. My deepest empathy. I too had to find workaround as for my ADHD. It takes effort but is worth it. As someone with ADHD, most of us try our best, but set an alarm is a borderline offensive oversimplification of a pretty complicated problem for a lot of people. I set multiple alarms, I medicate, I meditate, I monitor my diet, I do a lot of crap in an attempt to wrangle my neurochemical issues, and when someone asks me if I've tried setting an alarm or something equally obvious, it isn't productive. It is, in fact, quite the opposite. I can stick to a schedule by doubling or tripling the time and energy other people expend to accomplish the same amount of structure. So if someone can't respect that, it makes me feel like they don't respect my time. And that's how you get the worst case scenario. If you thought I was unreliable when I was trying, you're going to love how it goes when all of the same problems are there, but also I don't give a crap about your time anymore. But consider that in this situation, Op's wife is quite literally doing none of that. I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. It is short-sighted to simply not try basic time management solutions because one assumes they won't work. I dated someone like that, too. We missed shows I looked forward to seeing for months simply because he couldn't leave on time and shows always start late. The worst thing was he was late even if we were meeting at his place, and all he needed to do was to come down and open the front door for me. I didn't have the keys. It usually took him just under 10 minutes to finish whatever he was doing and pick me up. It was disrespectful, and I couldn't help but felt like I was wasting my time just waiting for him. I think the last part is what it boils down to. Being late to everything is a massive sign of disrespect. It tells everyone that is waiting on that person that their time is less important than hers. She should take more than some personal accountability, she should take all of it. She wouldn't be late to a job interview, would she? Because that would be a sign of disrespect, get my drift? The fact that she's getting short with your original poster when you mention the time, is because you're forcing her to acknowledge that not everyone runs on her late schedule. I might be biased as this type of behavior, and the disrespect that comes with this, really gets me spitting mad. But no Op, don't apologize for anything, she's the one that needs to do the groveling. Edit, thank you for the award. Exactly. So disrespectful. My whole family is like this. I am the complete opposite. My brother is the worst offender. Once he told me he hates having to wait for people. So he goes late everywhere so they have to wait for him. If I heard that from any family member, let alone my brother, I would make it a point to leave as soon as the designated time has come, not even past. He hates having to wait for people? Well, we hate having to wait for you, goodbye. Not the butthole. Original poster people who do this are the height of selfishness. You simply dump them or adjust to a zero-tolerance lifestyle. Plan a vacation and say the car pulls out at X o'clock. When you are in the driveway ready to go and she is not, you leave on time and she misses the vacation. Do this for meal reservations, visits with family, etc. When you show up where other people are and she is not there, people will wonder. Tell them the truth, she does not respect you or care enough to attend. This is how my entitled mother-in-law is. She has an entire city of people overseas who refuse to work with her on her vacation home because she's always late or even doesn't bother showing up to appointments. In her words, my time is valuable. Which shows just how selfish she is when she regards the contractors and etc. time as not being so. It's immensely disrespectful, rude, and lazy to waste other people's time, especially when they're trying to run a business or it's an event important to your partner. Original poster was smart and did what he had to do to make sure his wife arrived in time to something important to him, and she even arrived late to the time he told her. Considering her reaction, I doubt she'll ever change. Not the butthole original poster. Not the butthole. I wouldn't bother tricking her anymore, but I also certainly wouldn't wait for her. Next time you tell her that you need to leave by 8:30, then you leave at 8:30. If she is not ready, she gets left behind. If she is meeting you somewhere and she is late, leave. Every time she is so late, she is telling everyone that her time is more valuable than theirs. It is rude and inconsiderate. This the right take. My mother did this to us as children, probably not the best idea really, But it only took being left behind once or twice for you to be ready when she said you had to be ready. As an upside, as an adult, it never takes me more than 5 minutes to be ready to leave the house. I can be ready in 5 minutes, in theory. But in reality, I have to spend time looking for my phone or keys or wallet, and then I leave and remember that I forgot something and I have to go back. So I'm never on time. I can be ready in 10 minutes, but it will need everything in my power to do so. Not because I'm lazy, but somehow I'm easily distracted. Even without phone, without any screens, without any complicated text to read, I get distracted. And it takes me every bit of energy I have to control my train of thoughts. So it's either my energy or my time, to be honest. Sounds like ADHD in my opinion. Have you gotten tested before? No. I'm currently not in the financial capability to splurge for psychiatrist/therapist, and it's really expensive in my country. I do plan to get it in the future. TLDR, work around your faults and with your successes. I understand. If you can't get medication yet, please do so as soon as you can. Trust me, then there are ways we can work around it. One of them is a strict schedule. You wake up at this time, you eat at this time, etc. It helps massively once you've got the habit. Don't know how it works. Another one is learning how to hyperfocus on command. It's not as easy as it sounds, but if you can determine when you hyperfocus, you can get things done easier. Last one is exercise. I can't stress enough how useful it is to be so tired you can't move. Too tired to get distracted. Too tired to avoid sleeping, which is something you should try to get plenty of. Because we get so distracted by everything, we get mentally exhausted. It's easier to manage ourselves when we've got more sleep. Exercise is a great way to release energy and reduce stress. The fact that you know that you're going to spend some time looking for your phone or keys or wallet, and that you might need to go back for something you forgot, means that you need to factor that extra time into things. You should, almost, always be on time precisely because you're accounting for an extra 10 to 15 minutes of unexpected stuff. The fact that you say that you're never on time tells me that you're not actually trying to be on time. The fact that you say that you're never on time tells me that you're not actually trying to be on time. Yeah, this is what it boils down to. Everyone is basically working with roughly the same circumstances. We all have to have our phone, our keys, and our wallet when we leave. We all have to be fully clothed. And yet some people end up chronically late, other people are always on time or early. The solution to always showing up late is always starting leave prep earlier. Most people who prioritize being punctual figure out ways to manage their time in order to be punctual at least some of the time. You have to plan for reality instead of theory. Having kids really hammered this in for me. Something will go wrong, so I absolutely cannot plan to get ready in the minimum time. It will never happen. Someone will throw a fit, someone will lose their shoes, etc. Theoretically, I could get myself and all my kids ready in half an hour, but reality is that it never takes less than an hour, at least if we are starting from pajamas. If I tell myself we can get ready in half hour, I'm just lying to myself. I know in my head it's not going to happen. I don't lie to myself anymore, well, at least not very often. I give myself at least an hour to get myself and the kids out the door, and we are rarely late, and if we are, it's by less than 5 minutes. Clearly you are not a person that wears makeup. I'm jealous of this 5-minute stat. Haha. This is true. Only on special occasions / when I can be bothered. Otherwise just moisturizer with sub protection. NTA, I came to say this too. My sister was and is the same as your wife. I started telling her things start earlier and she soon caught on, no change in behavior and still late. So now I let her make her own way to things, and if she's late it's her loss. Although she was early on Christmas morning when she came up to see my kids open their presents, smiley face. Not the butthole, but you need to stop letting her make you late for events. With a breakfast with your mom, you should have left in time to meet your mom when you said you would. Wife can drive herself, take an Uber or stay home. You accommodating her gives her no incentive to change, and she does not respect other people enough to do it out of courtesy. So hold to your own standards and she can reap the consequences of doing as she pleases. I know you really wanted her at the graduation, so I don't blame you for what you did, but that trick won't work as a regular thing. I agree. When you let her make you late to meet your mom, That meant your mom had to wait an hour by herself at a restaurant she didn't even get to eat at. When I'm sure she was so excited to see her child after months apart. You prioritized your wife's lack of respect over your mother's time and love. This has struck a nerve with me. My husband has made us late for so many things over the years. I've told him the wrong time a lot. But you're right. My waiting for him and letting us be late is showing a preference for him over the person we are late meeting. And it just reinforces that the offender can continue on with the only consequence being people might be annoyed. If they start getting left behind and not prioritized, they may change their behavior. This is exactly what I was thinking. Unless it's something that she has to be there for, i.e., she has to sign something, tell her what time you need to leave. Maybe tell her 15 minutes earlier than the time you need to go. Then, at that time, you tell her, one reminder. Honey, it's the time I said we need to leave. I'm leaving in 15 minutes, I'd love for you to come with me. If not, I understand. Then leave in 15 minutes. I think this strikes a good balance of pragmatism about the situation, respect for yourself, and love for your partner. This right here. My best friend has had severe ADHD since we were kids and had always been late for everything. I eventually learned that I just had to say to him, look, this is what I'm doing and I'm leaving at this time. If you want to join, be ready then, and if he wasn't ready, I left without him. You have to set healthy boundaries for yourself, and if that person cares for you and enjoys spending time with you, they will make it work. On the other hand, if he invites me to do something, I don't make a big deal about being late. It's his thing and I need to be flexible. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.